Hey everybody, how are you? I'm a couple of minutes early. We'll see how long it takes for you folks to get in here. Hey Randall, what's up, buddy? How are you? You must have been like standing by the door waiting for the bell, waiting for the bell to ring, right? Good to see you, my friend. How you been? Oops, why isn't my little laptop working here? Yeah, a couple minutes early, Randall. Well, my clock says 3 minutes of. Johnny Lipsham. Hey, bud, what's going on? Why can't my little thing scroll? There it goes. I bought a new MacBook Pro, and I'm still getting used to it. Let's see. How's everybody doing, man? I know it's was kind of late notice. Yeah, see, that's kind of strange. Hey, David, what's up, buddy? First time for you. Nice. Thanks for joining. The first time, Alberto. How are you? Trying to get down to the chat here. Johnny says congrats on 30,000. So I was going to say 3,000, Johnny. Thanks, man. Yeah, as you can see on the screen, I could see it up here. We're actually, secret between you and me, we're about 10 subscribers short as of we sit here right now. But I thought it was close enough. By tomorrow, we'll have surpassed 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is, wow, you know? And so I wanted to get on here and talk about that and just say hi to everybody and see what else is going on with everyone. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask me. You know that. You can ask me anything, and I'll try to answer and let you know some of the new products that are going to be coming out very shortly. But yeah, we have 18 people here. It's great. Joe's here. Hey, Joe. What's going on? Thanks for being here. Yeah, so we started this YouTube channel in, I want to say 2014. I mean, there was a YouTube channel in 2013, but honestly, I didn't do anything on it. If you go look at some of the videos, I mean, there may have been one or two videos. Anyway, in 2014, when I met Johnny Lipsham, I think is when me and Johnny had met, and Johnny Geib were really kind of the first two folks that I met in the PreSonus community. That was when I pretty much moved from Cubase over to Studio One. And at that time, I think that was the summer of 2014. And there was no home recording made easy at that time. There was a YouTube channel, but it wasn't even called Home Recording Made Easy. And maybe there was 50 subscribers, maybe. And in September 2014, when I kind of decided that we were going to shift to some, training and online education and blah, blah, blah. And we started to put together the first training product, which was Mixing Made Easy Volume 1. That was in 2014. And that's really when I started to use the YouTube channel. So in 2014, September, we probably started with less than 100 subscribers. And here we are, what are we in? January, February, March 2019. So, 2014 was only a few months. It was 2015, 16, 17, and 18. So maybe really 4 years, and maybe a little bit more than that. And now we're at 30,000, just about 30,000 subscribers. And so it's been a fun ride up to 30,000. I never thought we'd ever get 10,000, let alone 30,000. And we're growing at about 600 to 700 a month. And that tends to climb a little bit. The videos that I'm generating are tending to get more views now. I tend to get more daily subscribers, which is great. And so, that's all because of you guys actually, subscribing and checking out the videos. And this whole YouTube thing has been a journey, that's for sure. And so in concert with that, it's kind of when Home Recording Made Easy kind of started right around that same time. And as all you guys know, anyone that's, part of Home Recording Made Easy and has courses and is on the website, or who has been around for Home Recording Made Easy for a while, guys like Randall and Johnny Lipsham, and the guys have been around since the very beginning. you've seen kind of the way it's kind of transformed, you know, where we were just doing real bare bones, down and dirty stuff in 2014, 2015, to now where we got, you know, a much bigger websites. I don't even know how many courses there are anymore. There's probably 15 Made Easy courses, and there's at least 24 2 years worth of quick mix courses, and now there's mixingmadeeasy.net. So it's growing, growing, growing. And so it's all because of you guys, because without you guys, none of this stuff matters, right? I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. So I'm really here to thank most of you, because all you guys have been around for a long time here. And so in celebration of 30,000 subscribers, as you can see on the screen, there is a coupon. The email isn't going out till tomorrow, but if you're here, you can start using it now. There's a coupon code for 30% off anything that's on the website. It's HRME, Home Recording Made Easy, 30. You get 30% off any of the courses. Go use it. I'm going to keep that sale on for a full week. So if there's stuff that you've been looking to get and you haven't had the time or haven't had the extra cash and you wanted to stock up on some courses, now's the time to do it. Go do it. Take advantage of it. You know, and the only thing is that it does not pertain to the, there's a couple of mixing training packages, you know, that have 3 or 4 courses in them. They're already discounted. That coupon code won't work for those. Those are really for single titles, but you guys can go get whatever you want. So go do it, man, because it'll be cool. And there's going to be some new stuff coming soon. So definitely do that. So let me go see who's on the chat here. We got 32 people here, according to my little screen, but it never seems to be accurate. Okay, guys here. Guy, how you doing? From Bigfoot Country. Cool, man. Pablo's here. Hey, what's going on? Justin is here. Hey, Dave, you're the reason I went with Studio One and PreSonus gear. Thanks for the great training videos. Hey, Justin, you're very welcome. Welcome to the PreSonus family. PreSonus stuff is great. You know, I have, as you know, Studio One, and I have a few other pieces of Studio One PreSonus hardware, including a monitor station, a single fader port, and I have a DP88 interface, if you will, that kind of hooks up to my Apollo. So yeah, I'm glad you're liking it. Glad you're liking Studio One. And there's going to be, mentioning Studio One, there's a few, as you know, Justin, or maybe you don't know, there's a couple of training courses already that are specific to Studio One, and I'm about to start filming on the next one, which is going to be Mixing in Studio One Volume 2. The first one was really an introduction for people who have never really used Studio One before from a mixing perspective. And so it was using all stock plugins, and it was showing you how to set up your session and how to route things and how to color code and a lot of the basic functions, so you can kind of get yourself, you know, getting around Studio One pretty easily. Volume 2 is going to still stick with all the Studio One plugins. However, we're going to start looking at some of their fat channel plugins. In particular, you know, some of the analog plugins, the LA2A, the 1176, Console Shaper Pro, the ones that come free with Studio One Professional, and some of the paid ones that they have as well. So you guys can see the difference there. And then we're also going to add in 2 to 3, maybe 3 more advanced mixing techniques that were not part of the first one, because the first one was really for beginners. So in this one, we're going to talk about things like early reflections, EQ filtering. We might talk about some different compression techniques with multi-band compressors and stuff. And again, everything within Studio One, so you don't need to run out and buy a bunch of plugins. So that's going to be kind of cool. So it's going to be like the more advanced course for just Studio One and the Studio One tools. Okay, so that I'm going to start filming probably next week, maybe within a month or so. That product will be ready, and it'll be, you know, chock full of you know, Studio One stuff, and it's going to kind of just pick up from where Mixing in Studio One Made Easy Volume 1, where that kind of leaves off. This is going to kind of pick up and move. Okay, so that's going to be coming, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy that. So Justin, keep your eye out for that. Deer Creek Audio says, where are you located? I'm locating on the East Coast in Connecticut. It's 23 degrees outside right now. What's it say? John, that 30% off will be handy. I'll have to grab something. Yeah, go grab you. And actually, you can use that. I think you can use that on more than one thing. You could go try. I think you can make a purchase, then go back, make another purchase, and use the coupon again. People ask me, how come you can't put multiple courses in your shopping cart in one purchase. It's the website platform that I use at some of their limitations, but they're working on that. So there will be a time, hopefully this year, where if you wanted to buy 3 things, you can do it all in one purchase, and you don't need to make 3 separate transactions to make things easier. But I don't have any control over that. Let's see. Donnie Hill's here. Hey, Donnie, what's up, bud? Hello, David. Happy 3,000. It's 30,000, not 3,000. Took me a long time to get to 30,000, Donnie. Don White says, Don White. Hey, Don, what's up, bud? Greetings from the snowy and icy Ottawa. Hey, a Canadian, a Kachuk, or Canuck. Canuck. How are you, bud? Deer Creek Audio says, did you use DAW before Studio One? Oh, yes, many. I used Cubase for many years, all the way back from when they started with SX2, which was the kind of the version, all the way up through Cubase 5, and then I moved to Studio One. And then prior to that, or it can kind of in tandem with that, I also used Pro Tools for Pro Tools 7, maybe, all the way up through Pro Tools 11. I didn't really use 11 much. I kind of lost me in Pro Tools 9, but I upgraded to Pro Tools 10 and Pro Tools 11 because at that time, when I was doing a lot of tracking, working with other local studios, and they wanted to send me sessions, they needed to send me Pro Tools sessions, so I had to still use Pro Tools back then. I don't do that anymore, so I haven't opened up Pro Tools in I don't even know how long. The program's still on my computer, but when I upgrade this computer at one point, I won't even reinstall Pro Tools, to be totally honest. I don't open it, don't use it, don't care to use it. And so, but Pro Tools, those are the 2 DAWs that I used. Cubase was a really cool DAW. The only reason why I left Cubase at that time was because Cubase 5 was only a 32-bit DAW, and Studio One at that time was the only native DAW that was 64-bit. And that's why I moved over, because I had a high-powered Mac I had just bought, and I wanted to take advantage of using that to get better performance. And that's why I originally left Cubase. Cubase was a great DAW. Studio One is a lot more intuitive. Now, I don't know about the new versions of Cubase. I have Cubase 9. Great DAW. Studio One and Cubase are very similar in the way they function. And the reason for that is, or at least one of the reasons, is that the engineers that originally designed Studio One were former Steinberg engineers who helped create Cubase. So it's very Cubase-like, or Studio One is very Cubase-like, or now Cubase is very Studio One-like. But Cubase is a great DAW as well. I liked it. I didn't have any problems with it, except for the fact that it wasn't 64-bit. And by the time I switched over to Studio One was so much more intuitive, and I just stopped using Cubase. But if I had to go back to a DAW for some stupid reason, that would probably be the one I would go back to. Daddy Boonga? Shouting you guys from the Caribbean island. Wow. I bet you it's not 23 degrees there like it is here. Donnie says 30, 30, 30. Sorry. No problem, Donnie. I know. It was a typographical error. Deer Creek Audio, your SM7. Thanks. Sounds great. Any EQ or extras on it? Yes, there is. There's and it sounds great without it, but actually what I'm running it through, I'd have to do a screen share, which I can do, right? Hey, we have the technology. Let me do that. Get up to the screen here. So you want to see screen share, right? Okay. So I'm running my microphone through the mixing, through the console software of the Apollo. You can see my voice coming in here, and I'm running it through the API Vision Channel Strip. A little bit of preamp gain here. And then I'm using I don't know, 3, 6, 7 dB of compression here. And then a little bit of EQ here as well. So if I bypassed it, well, I don't want to do that because it's probably not gain stage very well. I didn't level match it. I just made it sound good. So that's what I'm running it through. What's great about this, think of this software if you're not a Universal Audio user. This software is, one moment here. There we go. So you can see me now. This software is similar to the, what do they call that thing? Universal Control. It's similar to that in a way, like the way you would use if you had a Studio 192 and use UC Surface or certain Universal Control. That's what this is. This is just their version of it. And what's nice about the Apollo, if you don't know, is that with this sits between your interface. So if you're looking at the screen and you see this software mixer to the left of this, if you think about Signal Flow would be your interface, which I have an Apollo. You plug your instrument into your interface, it goes to the interface, goes through this software, out of this software into Studio One or into any DAW, right? And so what's great about this is you can record, because this is all done on the software, or excuse me, on the hardware, on the Apollo, so you can run through plugins. In other words, if I wanted to record a vocal or a guitar through this channel strip, I can print it right to Studio One, and it never taxes the CPU in my computer, which is really cool. So where would this be handy? This would be handy. I only have 4 inputs on this particular unit because I don't do a lot of tracking, but let's say you had, this is a unit that's a couple of years old now. Let's say you had like the Apollo 8P, okay? Would have, this only has 4 XLR ins, mic pre's, that one has 8. So let's say you wanted to record a drum kit. You can record a drum kit through an API, through a Neve, through an SSL. You could put plugins here on the inserts, you know, all the plugins. So it's like recording, you know, in an analog studio through analog plugins into your DAW. Commit to the sound before you print. And if you do that and you're effective at it, your mixing becomes so much easier. So that's what it's running on. So this is what I use. And it works awesome. I love it. And over here, you also have auxiliaries where like you can add things like reverbs, you know, inserts. You can have reverbs and sends. You can, so like my vocal mic here is on it. You have 4 sends. I can send it to a reverb if I wanted to. Then you also have the option over here on the far right, if you can see it underneath the output meters. It has these 2 little buttons, UAD record, UAD monitor. So when it's on record, it means whatever plugins your signal's running through, it prints it to the DAW. If you click on monitor, all that means, and here's the monitor, you can hear that my voice has changed. All that means is that you only monitor the effects that are on it. It'll print raw to the DAW. Make sense? And there we go. So there's the difference. So because it was on monitor, whatever's going out to OBS, you're not hearing the effect of that vision. So that's like the before and after. So it's really cool, you know, and you can do all kinds of stuff. They have Q outputs and there's a whole, I don't use this, you know, I don't even scratch the surface for what this thing can do because I don't do a lot of tracking here anymore. And that's really what this is for. But I like it. So that is that. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. There we go. Let me see what other questions we got here. Look at 33 people. Wow, you guys are here for a celebration. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little if I can, because this stupid thing doesn't want to scroll up. There we go. Oh, I'll get your questions, guys. I'm going back up so I don't miss anybody. Okay, I was right here. Okay, so Donnie Hill says, I remember when it was 300. Yeah, me too. You were around that long, huh, Donnie? Yeah, I know you've been around a while. I didn't realize you were around there for that long. Thank you for all that support over the years. I know you watch every video and you comment on almost every video, and I respond to them. So I do appreciate it, my friend. Deer Creek Audio says, I'm surprised Logic wasn't on your list. Loving Studio One coming from Sonar Syncing. Logic I have. I like Logic. I haven't worked enough in it. And it's only because I'm so darn busy. I did put up a poll recently, which some of you responded to, and some people really liked the idea, and some people got really freaked out. Because a lot of people, you know, most of my following and most of the people when I ask you guys what DAWs you're using, I'd say 70% of you are using Studio One, and that's why I focus mostly on Studio One. But there are people who don't use Studio One, and the other one is Logic. And I said, you know, I could create some videos in Logic if you guys would like. And, you know, about a little less than half of you said, yeah, you'd like that. Maybe 65% of you said no, because you're Studio One users. And some people even said, they were like, you know, you're like the Studio One guy. And I'm like, well, I'm really not the Studio One guy. I'm the mixing guy. It doesn't matter what I teach in Studio One, with the exception of, right, disclaimer, the 2 courses that are Studio One specific, and there are a couple, as you all know, recording in Studio One Artist, mixing in Studio One, and now mixing in Studio One Volume 2 that's coming. Outside of those 3, all the other courses are just general mixing concepts, techniques, and training that you can apply to any DAW or any set of plugins, right? So it's not really, I never really intended to be this, to build my business around Studio One. I mean, glad that it is. I love Studio One, but there are a small portion of my audience that doesn't use Studio One. And so Logic's a great DAW. I may do some stuff in there at one point just to change things up, you know, but yeah, it's a great DAW. If you have Logic and you're used to it and you like it, there's no reason to switch from anything. You know, I wouldn't say move from one DAW to another unless there's something in your DAW that you really don't like or can't do that you find another DAW can do. Or if it's something like, you know, Sonar, something where, you know, things are going, you know, not being supported anymore and those kinds of things, certainly. And then I always recommend Studio One. But if you're an Apple person and you have Logic, Logic's a great DAW too. It is. They're all good, except for Pro Tools. I hate Pro Tools now. But, you know, Cubase, Studio One, Logic, they're great. But as everyone knows, I prefer Studio One. Let's see. Let me scroll back up here. Whoops. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. David. Hey, David. How are you, buddy? Asks, hey, Dave, what's your opinion on the control station? You mean the monitor station? Is that what you mean? I don't know. I don't know of a control station, and I'm assuming you're talking about the PreSonus monitor station. Let me know if that is what you're talking about. Davis is here. Hey, Davis. What's up, bud? Hey, Mike from Peace of Valley Audio. Hey, Dave and everyone. Congrats on 30,000 subs. Thank you, my friend. You're part of that, and I really do appreciate that. Jammin' J317. Jammin' J, how are you, buddy? Deer Creek Audio says, thanks for the mic info. It sounds really good. Thanks. Yeah, I love this. I've had this for years, and I don't think you'll find a video with me not using this. I really do like it. It's great mic. Sounds good, you know. Just like it. Hey, Andy from Thunder Creek Studios is here. Hey, bud, what's going on? Let's see. Congrats on N0G4RD3R. That's a hell of a name. That must mean something. Congrats on 30,000. Thank you, my friend. Any thoughts on a comment made by CLA? He said that in terms of sound, plugins are like Tang compared to orange juice. He said plugins have come a long way, but not quite there yet. I think in some cases he's probably right. I mean, CLA, I mean, that's funny because CLA has a bunch of plugins with his name on it, so they can't be too bad or else he wouldn't be doing that now, would he? But, you know, again, he works on analog hardware and has his whole career, so he's going to be biased toward that, certainly. I think in some cases, man, they're almost indiscernible from one another. In other cases, there's a big difference. I mean, and you guys have seen me do, I don't even know how many different videos on different plugin reviews or any one of my mixing courses, or if you're a part of mixingmadeeasy.net, you know that I mix stuff with different plugins every single month, and so you guys can hear the differences. And I tell you in those courses, in non-public forums, what I really think of them, and if I think they're good and they hold up or they don't. Many do, some don't. You know, hey, CLA's, you know, CLA's the man. So if that's how he feels, I'm sure he, that's valid. But he, like I said, he also has about a dozen Wave plugins that he endorses with his name on it. So, you know, and some of those plugins are kind of you know, some of them are and they're his plugins and I don't like them. And other ones I really do like. So, you know, in today's day and age, at the end of the day, the only one that's really going to hear the difference if you know how to be a good mix engineer is another mix engineer, right? Like people that are hanging out here, maybe you and I can listen to hardware versus plugin and we might be able to pick out certain spots, but the average music listener, if the mix is mixed well, it's mixed well. And it doesn't matter if it's on hardware or on plugins. It really doesn't. Are there very small differences? Yeah, there are. Is one better than another? You know, 10 years ago, I would have said, yes, analog is still way there. But, you know, as CLA, as you kind of alluded to, they've come a long, long way. And there's some that I can't hear the difference. And, you know, I hear a bigger difference between different manufacturers' plugin of the same piece of hardware, right? So for example, for the, you know, if you haven't already, you know, I just did a whole SSL channel strip shootout, and I can hear differences between the channel strips, the plugins. You know, some sound vastly different than other ones, and some, in my opinion, sound better than others. But how that compares to an actual SSL piece of hard disk, a real SSL, I think it's probably really close. Close enough for what we're all doing, for sure, you know, in my opinion. But, you know, everyone's got a different, you know, it's so subjective. It really, really is. If it sounds good to you, it's good. It's more about the engineer and the skill set than it is the tools. It really, truly is. I say that all the time. You guys have heard me say that a billion times. Let's see. What else is going on here? Who else is here? Hope that answers your question. David says the PreSonus Control Center. Oh, what is the PreSonus Control Center? Johnny Lipshan, are you still here? Chime in. What is that? Because I don't know what that is. And if it's a product, I don't have it. So I don't know. I don't know of anything called the PreSonus Studio Control Center. I'm sure there is a product. You must be saying it correctly. I just don't know what it is. Jim. Hey, Jim. How are you, buddy? Hi, David. Have you had a chance to check out the CLA's new MixHub plugin? Yes, Jim. And that just goes to show you haven't been watching all the videos on my channel, Jim. I have a 2-part series video that was done about 2 weeks ago. Between those 2 videos, you got about 40 minutes worth of content. Go watch that. Yes, I did. I like some things about it, and I dislike some things about it. You'll have to watch the video. But it's there, Jim. It's there. Did you sign up? Do you hit the notification bell, Jim, so you know when a new video gets posted? You may have been busy. I put that out a couple of weeks ago. Let's see. Deer Creek Audio says, it's kind of like it's an MCI better than Ampex. Oh, right. You're talking about the plugins. When we knew that Studer was king. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Right. Is one really better than another? It really is all dependent on you. I usually will tell you in the videos which one I think is better, and then and then that usually spawns a whole bunch of comments of people telling me why I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You know, so sometimes I wonder, should I even share my opinion and tell you what I really think? I should just show you the plugin and go, you decide. Which I say all the time too. I say, you know, you see me demo all these plugins, and with the exception of 1 or 2 companies, they all offer demos, all of them, free demos. So I tell people that don't like, you know, the way we may review a plugin, or they don't agree with what I'm saying in the, go download the demo, both of them, put them side by side, open up your DAW and do the same test I'm doing, and you decide which one you like better. But I usually will tell you, because I know there's a lot of you guys come to me because you guys trust what I say, and you go, hey, if Dave says it's good, it's got to be good, so I'm going to try it out. And so I understand that, and I don't take that lightly. So I do try to be very careful that if I'm going to recommend something to you, I really do believe in it, or I wouldn't do that, because I know a lot of you guys go out and buy this stuff when I tell you what I think of something. Sometimes I get a little nervous. I had sometimes, you know, just like these new headphones, for example. A couple of weeks ago, I got the Sennheiser HD700s, which, by the way, are fantastic. And by the way, tomorrow, and Jim, I'm talking to you. Make sure you watch the video tomorrow. There's a video talking about how to get the best how to get great mixes on headphones. I got a 15-minute video coming out tomorrow talking about the 5 benefits of mixing with headphones and 4 tips on how to get great mixes with headphones. Anyway, when I first bought these and I was telling people about it on a live stream, the very next day, 4 or 6 people emailed me, all went out and bought the headphones. I said, wow, that's, you know, that's great. It's $600 a pair. You know what I mean? So I should send Sennheiser the invoice. And I hope you guys all like them, you know, so I am careful when I tell you something. So, you know, and that's kind of been the thing here at this, you know, we're talking about our 30,000 subscribers and what our whole theme of Home Recording Made Easy is, because there's a lot of channels that do what I'm doing, or I'm doing what they're doing. The difference is when I demo things, I tell you whether the plugin was given to me. Most times they're not. There are on some occasions where a vendor will give me a free plugin, and I'll tell you that up front. But I also, or any piece of gear for that matter, but most like when Tegular Audio sent me the equipment, they sent it to me to demo, but I bought it. They sold it to me at cost. I didn't pay full price for it because that was kind of the deal. If I liked their Summer and their EQ compressor, that they would sell it to me at dealer cost, but I still had to pay something for it. I didn't get it for free. But I'll tell you that, right? So, and so when I tell you I like something, it's not because I have some, I'm hooked up with a company or something. Most YouTube channels are, and you probably already know that. I'm not going to, say names of who, but most of them are. Most of them are there. They're getting paid to either do demos, or they're getting free stuff, or they may not always be telling you what they really think, is what I'm trying to say. So I tried to build my reputation on this, that if I tell you I like something, or I tell you something's good, or I tell you something's not that great, it doesn't mean that my answer is the holy grail answer. I'm just telling you that is advice that I'm giving to you that's honest, and it's not contrived, and it's not paid for. And so, you guys know that, or if you don't know that, I'm telling you that now. So anyway, let's see. Let me scroll back up here. Deer Creek Audio. So what do you think about tape emulations? I mean, tape plugins, I love them. There is a video on my YouTube channel. I don't know which one. It's probably going back a year. If you look under the playlist plugin reviews, where I think I compared the Slate Digital, the Kramer Master Tape by Waves, 2 of the Universal Audio, or 3 of the Universal Audio tape machines that I have. The Waves Abbey Road, J something, I forget the name. The Abbey Road's one from Waves. I've compared them all. I have them all. They're all great. They all sound very different from each other. So I like them a lot. I use them in every single mix that I do, unless I'm specifically doing a training course where we're talking about, we're only going to pick one plugin this month and see how good of a mix we can get with that plugin. I do a lot of that kind of training, so I might not use a tape machine, but in any other mix, you'll always see a tape machine of some kind. So I think they're great. They really do help that's probably, next to the channel strip, depending on which one it is, that's probably the plugin that kind of takes away some of the digital sterileness of digital. It really adds some of that warmth and kind of gets it more analog feeling, is tape. And so I love it, and I use them all the time. Let's see. Oh, Deer Creek Audio says it's the monitor station. Oh, like the Mackie Big Knob. Yes, I have the monitor station right here. I love it. It's great. Great piece of gear. Everything in my studio runs through it, and that's what I use to control what's going on in the DAW, Studio One, what's going on with OBS for live streaming, what I do with Skype or ScreenFlow when I record all of my tutorials. Everything goes through this main monitor station. It's great. It's quiet. It doesn't color the sound. That's the thing about the Mackie Big Knob I didn't like. The Mackie Big Knob was noisy. I used to have one before Studio One. I keep calling it Studio One. Before PreSonus put out a monitor station, because I had the monitor station, the first version, which was the silver colored one, and now I have the version 2, which is the black one. Prior to that, I was using a Mackie Big Knob, and the Mackie Big Knob is noisy. Maybe their new ones are better, but this PreSonus one is dead quiet. And I really like it. It looks good on the desk, doesn't take up a lot of space, and it works really well. I would recommend it. For sure. Oops, I lost my place again. David says, when does the SSL drum strip video come out? It's already done. It's posted and it's scheduled. When is it coming out? I'm going to tell you. Hold on. You asked, Davis. I'm going to tell you, buddy. Give me a second. Let me log into on another tab here and I'll look at it. I usually have 4 or 5 videos all recorded, ready to go, and all scheduled ahead of time. So that one is done. Great plugin, by the way. Let's look. That whole SSL Natives package that I just did, awesome plugins. Awesome, awesome. Drum tool, drum strip. Let's see. It's coming out on March 5th. That's when it's coming. March 5th. It's 7:29 a.m. in the morning, if you want to know. That SSL Native pack, it's a membership. You can buy them singularly if you'd like, but it's $140 a year for the 10 plugins. I've now played in a review. I've reviewed a bunch of them. You'll see the videos coming. I've used 8 out of the 10. They're fantastic. They sound great. Really good. I really like them a lot. Joe says, gotta go. Thanks, Dave. Hey, Joe. Take care, bud. Thanks for stopping in, man. And again, thanks for supporting on the channel here. I really do appreciate it. Peace Valley Audio. Your headphones cost $600. Yeah, I think these are either 5 or 6, Mike. The HD 700s. I think it's 6. Maybe it's 5. Check on sweetwater.com. It's a step up above the Focals that I was using before. I like them a lot. The Focals were great, but they were uncomfortable as all hell to wear, I gotta say. And these are the first ones I've had that are open back, which is a little bit more accurate low end than on the closed back ones. And again, you know, I wear, and this is why I did a headphone mixing video, which is coming out tomorrow. I spend most of my time these days working on headphones because most of the things I'm doing are training tutorials, and I can't have this vocal mic and have stuff coming out of my monitors. I get all kinds of bleed, and then I got to do a ton of editing. I have to mix in headphones. So I'm wearing these things 5, 6, 7 hours a day sometimes. So the Focals were just, they sounded awesome, but uncomfortable. I mean, oh my Lord, uncomfortable. These sound really, really great as well, but they're a lot more comfortable, a lot more. And so, yeah, so to me, if this is where I'm spending 75% of my time mixing now, I wanted to get a really good pair. Let's see. Andy says, congrats, David. I remember when it was a lot less subscribers. Yeah, me too, Andy. I do. Sweaty Spaghetti. Hey, Sweaty Spaghetti. Congrats, my man. Thanks, man. David says J37. Oh, that's the Abbey Roads tape. Yes, J37. J37. I always forget the number. You're right. Let's see. Andy says, hey, I got my resale license, so I'm officially a TC Audio Music Supply. Hey, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Congratulations. I wish you a ton of luck, man. Deer Creek Audio. I have Superior Drummer 3, which has tape emulation. Do you think that that specific one is comparable to the popular ones out? I don't know. I don't have Superior Drummer. I have Easy Drummer. I'll bet you it sounds great. I mean, I don't know, but are you happy with it? I mean, if you're happy with it, it's all that matters. I mean, I would imagine Superior Drummer is a great product. I would be surprised if it was terrible, you know, but I would say it probably is. It probably is. Let's see. The Space Station Beats. Hey, the Space Station. I love that name. Hey, just sub. Nice videos and good info. Hey, man, thanks for being a subscriber. You might have been the 30,000th subscriber, or maybe not. Maybe you're real close, though. Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words, man. That's really nice of you. David says, I love the SSL subscription. I have used 6 of them. Yeah, that was kind of a sleeper, man. Someone over at mixingmadeeasy.net. And oh, by the way, how many of the 30-something people here are mixingmadeeasy.net members, by the way? I know there's a few of you because I know who you are, but we got a lot of them, man. I mean, mixingmadeeasy.net really is taken off. Thanks so much. I hope you guys really like it. I just gave away some bonus content this month in March. Well, you don't know about it yet. You're going to know about it tomorrow in March. But yeah. Yeah, someone over there at mixingmadeeasy.net turned me on, or mentioned it in our forum, right? In our community, mentioned the SSL native and how he loved the channel strip and thought it was so much better than anything else was out there. I was like, really? I got to go check this out. And I'll tell you what, man, that was like a little golden nugget, man. Those plugins are awesome. That channel strip is great. And again, I just did a 2-part video on SSL shootouts. Go listen. You know, not that the other ones don't sound good, but this one just seems like it's got so much 3D depth to it. It sounds really great, man. I really like those. Michael, Peace Valley Audio. That's too much for headphones. Yeah, it's a lot, man. I mean, I think of it as, it's like, I don't think of it as headphones. I think of it as my studio monitors. I'm using these more than I'm using those. So, but yeah, I mean, for just general purpose headphones, it's way too much. Way too much. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you're someone who, well, again, you'll watch, I know Mike, well, Mike always watches my videos, but when you watch the headphone video tomorrow, you know, again, if you have problems with, and I know not you don't, Mike, because I hear your mixes and Mixing Made Easy, and I know your mixes, you got a decent room. But a lot of the people, the reason why I created that video is this. We have, I don't know, a few hundred now members over at mixingmadeeasy.net. And for the mixing contest, I get at least 100 mix submissions every month. And so as I listen to these, I hear a lot of problems, a lot of the similar problems. And when I talk to some of the members, I find out that the number one problem that they're having isn't because, you know, some of them they're learning how to mix, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're in the wrong kind of room. They have a room that's not acoustically treated. They have a room where maybe the monitors are not set up in an ideal space compared to the mixing space, like kind of where I'm sitting. And therefore, they're not hearing accurately what's going on in their mix. And they're making lots of bad EQ, mostly EQ decisions, but compression decisions as well, and even reverb. And so, you know, it just dawned on me. And when I started taking, I have a lot of personal one-on-one clients that talk to me about mixing. I teach a lot of private mixing one-on-one, and a lot of what I'm finding is a lot of people just they can't understand why they can't get a good mix that translates, that sounds great in their room, and they go out to their truck and it doesn't sound anything like that. And it's because it's the room. Either they got really crappy monitors, I mean real bargain monitors, or no acoustic treatment, or they don't have the space. And so one way to get around all of that nonsense is to get decent headphones and learn how to mix on headphones. You can mix on headphones if you get decent headphones. And that's what kind of prompted me to create the video. And also because, you know, it dawned on me that, hey, I mix in these things most of my day now. So I have some pretty good experience and some pretty good information I can give, that if you're having trouble with the room, if you can't get the acoustic treatment because it's either, you know, you're renting an apartment or you don't have the budget or whatever it is, or you can't get a decent set of monitors, or you don't have the right environment, and you want to really get good mixes that translate, well, get a good set of headphones and learn how to mix in headphones. So that's what made me do it. So that's that. David says the HD 700s are $599. Yeah, that's $600. That's right, $599. And it's best to use with Sonar Reference 4. Yes, and I talk about that in tomorrow's video. I'm going to tell you all about the video. You have no reason to watch it now. No, you're going to watch it anyway. Damn it. But yes, SonarWorks I talk about in that video. I have SonarWorks 4. I don't use it. And the reason why I don't use it is this. When you use that, and Davis, I'm sure you know this, when you put it on as the last plugin on your master bus, and you know, you put your headphones and it gives you a sound profile, and all it really does is put an EQ curve in to compensate for the headphones, to flatten out the response, depending on the headphones that you're using. When you go to mix your song down, you got to take that plugin off and disable it. Right, Davis? You know that, I hope, because if you don't, it's not going to sound right. And if I put that on my master bus while I'm creating a training tutorial video, you guys are going to hear this sound after it goes through that plugin. And depending on the system that you're listening back on, it's not going to sound the same as it does on my headphones. So I can't, for training tutorials and stuff, use Sonar 4, because it only benefits the person that's sitting with the headphones on, if that makes any sense. I probably didn't explain that right, but trust me. But if you're someone that's just doing your own mixes, absolutely, SonarWorks is great. And as a matter of fact, I have a couple of licenses I'm going to be giving away as part of our mixing contest over at mixingmadeeasy.net. So you can have a chance to win that. But yeah, it sounds great. But you know, again, the HD 700s, even with the Sonar Reference 4 profile, corrects it a little bit, but it's not way drastic. So I was able to quickly discern what's a little off. But I got to tell you, I got really comfortable mixing with these really quickly, and things translate really well. Let's see. Andy says, Thunder, again, congrats, Dave. Thanks. Still looking to do that live recording video with You Gotta Go. Yeah, that would be fun, Andy. We'll have to talk about that at one point. I've been asked about that a lot. People want to know if I can do a, you know, recording live, made easy kind of a thing. And I just, man, it's an enormous amount of work for me to do that by myself. So I've been kind of hesitant to do it. Deer Creek Audio says, Superior Drummer is so good that it has stopped me from buying SDX, as I can make my own custom kits easily or with any other sounds. Expansion's not needed, in my opinion. That's cool. Yeah, Superior Drummer makes good stuff. They do. Toontracks makes really good stuff. Let's see. Oops, I got a lot of questions here. Let me just make sure I don't... Oh, yes, we got a few of you guys are Mixing Made Easy people. That's true. I know you guys all are. I know all your names. Cool. Eric Hicks, I mean. Geez, can't spell my own name. Let's see. What is your favorite go-to plugin from State Logic, Solid State Logic? Blows Slate versions away. Well, it's a little unfair because the ones that I really like, Slate doesn't have a version of it, like their channel strip. Slate doesn't make an SSL channel strip. They make an SSL EQ, one part of the channel strip, but they don't make a whole channel strip. I also like the Solid State Logic bus compressor. Blows away the Waves one in my opinion, and also the Universal Audio one in my opinion. So I don't know that there's one that's an exact cross to Slate Digital. At least I'm trying to think. No, I like the Saturator, which is an SSL plugin, but Slate doesn't have a saturator. Well, I guess they do. They have something like Revival would be kind of considered a saturator. You know, they're different. That's SSL native pack doesn't replace Slate Digital because they have different plugins. And that's another reason why I really like it. It's a different good set of tools. It wasn't just a one-off replacing this company for that company. It wasn't. But you can demo them. So I would tell you to demo them before you buy them. Or you can try. You don't have to buy. You don't have to sign up for a year. You can sign up for 1 month. It's a little more expensive. I think it's like $24 to sign up for a month. So you can sign up for a month and try them out. And if you like them, you can buy them, or you can sign up for a year, or you could just cancel the membership after a month. That's what's nice about the subscription-based ones is that you can do it for a month. And if you don't like it, cancel it. Let's see, Steven. Hey, Steven, what's up, bud? Congrats, David. Thank you, my friend. Let's see. I don't want to lose my place here. Peace Valley. Mike says, thanks, 90% due to your training. Oh, your mixes? Oh, that's good, Mike. Yeah, your mixes have gotten a lot better. The last few that I've listened to, I think I even wrote you a letter and said, hey, these are the best mixes I've heard you do. And they are. They were. And I'm sure they still are. William. Hey, Dave. Hey, William. What's up, bud? Thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Our 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, and there's a coupon code up there if you want to go buy some training. Go buy some training if you're interested. Let's see. David says, yes, David says you have to take it off and you have to lower the volume when you use it. Oh, you mean the Sonar 4? Yeah. Yep. As long as you know that, you're cool. Great. That's a great little utility plugin, though. I'll tell you that. The latest version of SonarWorks is supposed to address that. Notification before you bounce it active. Oh yeah, I think it'll. Yeah, will it give you a notification, tell you to disable it? Yeah. That if that's what you're talking about, yeah, it'll kind of warn you. But I wish I still can't use it while I'm recording a tutorial because the sound is going through that and getting printed on the tutorial. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that keeps me from using it because you wouldn't be hearing what I'm hearing. But for people that are not doing training tutorials, it's fantastic. Oops, I lost my place again. Oh, okay. Let's see. Jim says, I just picked up a pair of Kali Audio LP8 monitors. I don't know if I know that name. So far, they've been great. Anyone else have an opinion on these? I don't know that name, so maybe someone else here does. But that's great. If you like the way they sound, that's awesome. Congratulations on the purchase. Rick says, hey, Rick. Okay, I'll step on this landmine. Thoughts on the Toontracks Easy Mix? I've never used it. I've seen people use it. If Toontracks wanted to send it to me to check out, I would play with it. But what I've seen about it, I went, well, there's other plugins that are similar to that. Things like the CLA artist plugins where they have like the drum plugin where everything is kind of built under the hood, where you don't need to know anything about a compressor. You don't need to know anything about an EQ. All you have to do is push a couple of sliders and it kind of does everything under the hood. Easy Mix is like that, hence Easy Mix. It's supposed to be for non-technical people. And that's great. That's great. Okay. What I don't like about those kinds of plugins for people that usually come to follow me that want to learn how to mix their own music is it's almost giving you the cheat sheet, and it never forces you to really understand what you're doing and what these tools do, and therefore you're gonna plateau very quickly, and you're not gonna get better. Your mixes won't get better after a certain point, and it'll happen very fast. You'll get to a certain point, you'll be happy with what these things do, and then you're going to go, well, how do well, I like this, but how do I get this, and how do I get that? And because you don't understand what a compressor does and how it works, EQ frequencies, instrumentation, fundamental frequencies, and all the geeky stuff that we always talk about, because Easy Mix and those kinds of plugins do it for you, it'll it'll stunt your growth, if you will, as far as learning the craft. And that's the thing I don't like about them. But if you don't care about that, and you're just like a home recording musician dude, and you're like, you know what, I don't give a crap, I just want the thing to sound decent so I can send out a demo to the bar or something, they're great. But for teaching, and I stay away from those plugins because of everything I just said. But I haven't played with them exclusively long enough to say much more than that. Bobby Booth, mixing and mastering service. Hello. How you doing, Bob? Let's see. Bobby Dale. Hey, Bob. What's up, Bobby Dale Harris? Hello, all, and congrats, Dave. Well-deserved milestone, buddy. Thanks, my friend. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a long road. I hope not too long from now we'll be looking at 50,000. Going, wow, how about that? Peace Valley Audio says the SSL has a 30-day full free trial. Yeah, I think they do, Mike. And yeah, you should try them out. They're really good. Let's see. Troy. Hey, Troy, what's up, my friend? Congrats on the 30,000 subscribers. Picked up a pair of HD 600 headphones. Way more comfortable than my PreSonus H9s, and they sound great. Awesome. I have not listened to the HD 600s, but they got a lot of the same design as the 700s as far as the comfort, and the design is very similar, so I'm sure they're great. Congratulations. I'm glad you like them. Let's see. Deer Creek Audio, David, been lurking for a couple of years. Nice meeting you. Congrats on the 30,000. Hey, man, thanks so much. I'm glad you've been hanging out for a couple of years. William, hey, Dave, I bought many of your mixing courses and started this about 3 years ago. Wow. I've learned a lot from you. Thanks a lot, bro. Hey, man, thanks for buying the courses, man. Without you guys ponying up the money and buying the courses, there's no Home Recording Made Easy. There's no Home Recording Made Easy YouTube channel. There's no MixingMadeEasy.net. There's none of that stuff. You wouldn't even know who I was. So you guys are the reason why I'm able to do what I do. And so I so appreciate that you guys buy and support. And most of you that do this, you guys buy all the, a lot of you buy all the courses. I look at your accounts, and you have everything that I've ever put out. And that means a lot to me, man. I'm glad that they help. And that's awesome. I love hearing that. I want, because sometimes when you're making these things, I don't know, how much is this one really going to help someone? And is it really going to help someone? And so it's good to hear that, because I really try to make sure that all the courses are unique in and of themselves to some degree, even if a lot of them are mixing courses, they're not the same course, as you all know. And I try to make sure that each one of these things has things in them that are not just run-of-the-mill. There is a lot of run-of-the-mill stuff in mixing, right? But there's some unique stuff, and some stuff that I don't see people talking a lot about, especially in the more advanced courses. So I'm glad that these have helped, William. Thank you. Sean Carr's here. Hey, Sean, what's up, bud? Deer Creek Audio says, David, going to watch the reruns. I have two big dogs that need attention. Oh, congrats. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Johnny Lipsham. I'm only 28,940 subscribers behind you now, Dave. Hey, Johnny, man, I tell you, it isn't going to be long before you're right here. Trust me. It's funny. Bobby says, I'm sure you'll make 50,000. Training is second to none, my friend. Thank you, Bobby. I really do appreciate that. Johnny says, correction, 27,940. Oh, 27,000. See, you've already made up 1,000 subscribers. Look at that. About 45 seconds. It's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm subscribed to your channel, Johnny. I see every single one of your videos that come out. Let's see. Bobby says, I've been following you when you and Johnny Gibe did the first song together. Oh, you talking to me or Johnny Lipsham? Because I did one with Johnny Gibe, God, years ago, too. We did one a while back. Oh, William says, I forgot to mention that because of learning from all of your courses, I'm getting my first mixing job. That's fantastic, William. Good for you, bud. That's great. That's awesome. See, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of you that want to make money at this or want to, make a few bucks on the side. Maybe you don't want to do this as a full-time job, but hey, maybe you have a few extra hours on the weekends. You want to hook up with your, with some local bands or local artists and make some money. Hey, why not, man? I'm telling you, if you work at it and you're training and you're working on this stuff, you can do that. So that's fantastic. That is freaking awesome. That's really great. That's really great. Once you start getting used to doing that, you start making a couple of bucks, man. You're gonna get the fever. You're gonna want to start. Oh, I can make money at this now. It's a whole new thing, man. Bobby says to you, David. Oh yes. Yeah, so you were following me way back when I did that thing with Johnny Gibe. That was in like 2014. That's been a long time, man. That's great. That's awesome. Let's see who else we got going on here. Oh yes, Johnny Lipsham reminds me. I did a song with Johnny called Fences 2015. It might have been 2015, Johnny. You might be right. Yes, we did a mix on a song called Fences. It was a mix by, I forget the artist, but we got it from PreSonus. Rick Knopke, I don't know if he produced the artist or he was somehow connected and got us the multi-track. And Johnny mixed it and I mixed it. I think we might have even done third-party plugins versus stock plugins. I don't remember. But a lot of people really liked that series. That was a lot of fun to do. That was a lot of fun. Troy says, I'm looking forward to seeing the March content for Mixing Made Easy with the SSL native. Oh yeah, so Troy, you said I'm into week 1 of my 30-day subscription. Perfect timing. Okay, so here's the thing, Troy. So for people that are MixingMadeEasy.net members, so in March I did something. I gave you guys some extra stuff. So March, the original content for MixingMadeEasy.net was done with the either the Waves or the Universal Audio channel strip. I forget. It was recorded a few months ago. But for over learningtomix.com, where I'm still kind of working with Pete for the next few months, this month's mix I did with the SSL channel strip. And so what I did was I gave you guys all of my videos from that learningtomix.com. So if you're not a member of both websites, you'll have the whole series. Just my stuff, not Pete's. Okay, where I'm mixing with that whole channel strip. And not only that channel strip, only the SSL native pack. So the channel strip, there's a drum tool that we talked about. There's a vocal tool. There's a saturator, like 7 or 8 of the plugins. So that was bonus. That was bonus stuff, Troy. And I'm going to do more of that stuff. Not just give you learning to mix stuff, because I'm not going to be with that much longer. But there's other things I got in the cooker here that, in addition to the content, you're going to get some extra stuff every now and again. Whether you get a chance to use it right now or not, it's okay. But I want to give you guys extra stuff. And so that'll be coming every couple of months. I'm going to drop something else in on you, so you guys have some other cool stuff. So that's great. Yeah, so watch the bonus content. That's where the SSL stuff is, not the regular MixingMadeEasy.net content for that month. That's SSL, but it's, I think, the Universal Audio channel strip, if I remember right. So you'll be able to hear you'll be able to hear the two. You'll hear the differences, which is really cool. Let's see. Who's this? I Tell Soups, is that what that says? Hey man, what's up? I came across someone selling presets for certain Waves plugins today. Surely people buying them don't know and will never know how to use them, how to use the tools they're working with. Oh, pardon me. I never knew people sold presets like that, really. I wouldn't buy presets. A lot of the Waves, well, it depends on the plugin. Some of the Waves plugins, presets are really good. Some of them are horrible. Presets are good to get you in a good starting point. But, yeah, that's really strange. I wouldn't buy presets. You get people that are buying presets, their head's not in the right space for mixing yet. It's okay. Those are beginners that really don't understand, yet. Hopefully they get involved in this community and in other communities where they get good instruction, where they can learn from the ground up so they don't need the preset. However, Troy, talking about the learning to mix content with the SSL native, by the way, 80% of that mix I did with presets. That's one set of plugins that almost all the presets sound awesome right out of the box, and there's just some minor tweaks. You're going to get a kick out of that. But yes, that's rare. There are some plugin companies that make really good presets, and I've used some. Like there's some by Slate Digital. A couple of their EQs got some really good presets, and there's others. So that's really cool. But yeah, you know, if you want to learn how to mix, and if you really want to learn it, you know, even if you just want to mix your own music and you don't want to be an engineer and you're not looking to, you don't want to have to get a college degree, and you don't want to get too technical, and you just want to really have a basic understanding. You know, that's why you come to Home Recording Made Easy. I mean, my stuff is called the Made Easy series for a reason, because it's not very technical. I try not to give you stuff that's going to overwhelm a new person or a newer mixer until you get to the more advanced courses. Then we talk a little bit more down in the weeds. So then by the time you're done training with me, you don't need to use presets. You'll understand what the hell you're doing. And it's not as complicated as you think. It's just like anything else. I tell a lot of newbies, it's just like learning an instrument, right? It's like practicing, learning to be a drummer or a guitar player. It's sitting down with the thing in your hand and wood shedding. Or if you're mixing, mix shedding, you know, mix. The more you mix, the better you will get at it. Your mixes will sound horrible at times, and they'll get better. And if you're a part of anything in my world of mixing, whether it's at Home Recording Made Easy or mixingmadeeasy.net, you will see, you know, plugins galore, different combinations of plugins, different mixing kind of styles. I mean, I change it up every single month, so you never see two things same. You'll have so much different things that you can just grab and pick certain things and put it into your own little workflow. And then you know, I tell people, if you stick with it and you really work it for like 6 months, you'll be surprised how good your mixes can be in 6 months. You really would. But you got to take the time. I mean, it's not something you learn in a day or in a 5-minute YouTube video. You know, it is a craft. And so it all depends how much you like it and how much time you can put into it, you know? Let's see. I'm going to scroll back up. I'm missing. Randall says, you and Johnny mixed the same song with different plugins about 6 months ago. That was for a Made Easy product, Randall. Yes, you're very astute. That's Mixing Made Easy Volume 3. If you don't have Mixing Made Easy Volume 3, me and Johnny mix the same song. He uses only stock plugins and a much more simplistic beginner's approach. Not because Johnny's not a good mixer. He did that purposely. Make sure I clear that up. Johnny's a great mixer. And I took the more advanced third-party plugins, throw everything in the kitchen sink, and then you guys can compare the two. That was a great series. If you haven't seen it, Mixing Made Easy Volume 3. Johnny Lipsham says, yes, it was third-party versus stock plugins. The song was recorded at the PreSonus headquarters studios in Baton Rouge. I didn't know that. Thanks for that information, but I know it was a PreSonus track. Okay, Troy says, I'm downloading the content right now tonight. Thanks. You're very welcome. Enjoy the content. There's a ton of it this month. Enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Johnny Lipsham says, the Slate presets are probably the best in the business. I would agree until you hear this SSL native pack, John. You will, if you haven't, you'll be blown away. You won't believe it, to be honest. So go demo the Solid State Logic native pack. Go demo it. And just use their channel strip. Use the channel strip and go through on your individual tracks and just pick one of the presets and listen to it straight out of the gate. You'll be blown away. I was shocked, to be honest. But you're right, Slate makes awesome ones too. But yeah, go check that out, Johnny. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts after you play with it for a bit. Let's see. William says, hey, Dave, what do you think of the Lawson mastering plugin over the UAD mastering desk? I don't know because I've never used it. Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. Oh, Bobby's thanking Johnny for helping with some panning and automation. That's really cool. Yeah, presets that come with plugins is one thing, right? And you'll use them for sure, but buying presets, yeah, I can't imagine anybody would buy presets. But those are, again, it's not their fault. Those are people that are looking for the magic bullet. They're looking for the magic thing to make everything sound amazing. And what they don't realize is the preset, it's all dependent on the program material. It may get you in the ballpark, but most times it has to be really tweaked heavily. So people buying presets, they think it's a magic bullet. And it's not, because they don't understand the craft yet. It's just like some of the people who want to learn everything there is to know about this craft in a 5-minute YouTube video. I get that shit all the time. Your videos are too long. I can't teach you 25 years of training in a 5-minute YouTube video. Sorry. If you don't have the patience to sit through a longer video or sit through a course, this is not for you. You're in the wrong hobby. I don't mean to be rude, but that's really what it is. When people, write me and, it's like, they want everything. We're in a time of instant satisfaction, right? We got these dopey things, right? Got to have everything right here, fingertips right now, finished. I got to have it all the answers. I got to know the whole thing in 10 minutes. This is not that. Not to get good at it. It's not. But the people that are hanging out here already know that, or you wouldn't even be here listening to me. But you'd be surprised some of the emails I get. You shake your head in disbelief. But hey, what are you going to do? Let's see. Johnny says, oh yeah, Johnny's thinking. Bobby, cool. Mike over at Peace Valley Audio says, I would love to do it professionally. I don't want to learn Pro Tools. People always call that DAW industry standard. I hate it and will never use it again. Yeah, Mike, you're right. But I got to say that's changing over the last few years. I would almost 5 years ago, I would absolutely 100% agree with you in lockstep that Pro Tools was the industry standard. And if you wanted to do this professionally in this business, you had to know Pro Tools. You can all like it or not, but that was the deal. Over the last few years, not as much anymore. Is it still the stronghold in most commercial studios? Probably because a lot of commercial studios that use Pro Tools, remember, most of those studios weren't using native systems. They were using HD systems with all the hardware, tens of thousands of dollars worth of investment. And they were using those systems for many, many years. So for them to switch to a new DAW on a whole new platform was more than just buying a $300 or $400 Studio One DAW. It was a big change. But I would be willing, and I don't know the exact stats, but again, 70 some odd % of my followers, and I have lots of them, use Studio One. That's not a coincidence. That can't be just unique to me and my channel, right? So, but you don't have to. You could be a professional and not use Pro Tools. I'm a professional. I don't use Pro Tools. It can be done. So I think that's changing, Mike. I think that's changing. Will it ever, will Pro Tools ever go away? Probably not. But I got to tell you, I think that, Studio One in particular is starting to take some of that market share. But I don't have any data to prove that to you. But just from people I know, people in the industry, I talk to a lot of people, I meet with a lot of people. And, Pro Tools is not the stronghold that it once was. It is still very popular in commercial studios, but in the home environment, not as much. For a lot of reasons. One being cost. So, but I hear you. I wouldn't use Pro Tools, and you don't have to, Mike. Don't. You don't have to. You don't need to use Pro Tools, that's for sure. Let's see. Johnny says there are no shortcuts to becoming a really good mixer. You have to invest the time and hard work making mistakes. Well said. That's true. It's like anything else. Bobby says, I haven't watched all the videos to the March Mixing Made Easy, but did you use all SSL's plugins? Yeah, Bobby, I was just saying in March for Mixing Made Easy, you get the regular content, for that month, which was, I did an SSL channel strip, but it was Universal Audios, I think. But I just did the whole SSL native plugins for the Learning to Mix content, and I gave you guys that content as well as a freebie. So when you download the March content, you'll see a folder called bonus content. That's what it is. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So you guys are really getting 2 full mixes, 2 sets of videos, 2 sets of audio files for this month. So enjoy it. There's a lot of content there. Let's see. Streams. Oh yeah, Johnny said the stream went down. No, it looks good on my end, and it looks good on everyone else's, and I'm monitoring it. There's a little bit of a lag, but that's always YouTube. Must be your internet, fellas. I'm recording this anyway, so you guys can always watch it on the replay. Mike says the stream looks good to them. Good. Deer Creek Audio says my instructional or demo videos do good in my opinion. Videos not so good. Do you ever get tired of doing compressor videos or how to use an EQ or wish to branch out from instructional stuff? Well, I mean, I do a lot more than just instructional stuff. Is only one revenue stream in my business. I have 10 different revenue streams. It's just one of them. But as far as the way I come up with what I'm teaching as far as the tutorials and the content goes is really based on my followers and my students and what they need. And again, I try to teach a thing in different ways because, you know, if I explain, like you were saying, you know, tired of doing the compressor video, the way I may teach a compressor video in one video may resonate with one student, and I might teach it slightly different in another video and it may resonate differently. You know, I don't get tired of it. No, I don't get tired of teaching it because I try, like I said, I always try to change this stuff up, whether it's, you know, using different compressors, different plugins, different, you know, it's not just here's the same 1176 and we're going to set it up the same way every single time. Yeah, I would want to kill myself after a few of those videos, but I can try to change it up enough to where it's not the same. And so, no, but yeah, but I do a lot more than just instructional stuff. You guys just don't know most of it. And I still do lots of mixing and mastering for clients. I mixed 3 full records last year in between all this other stuff. So, yeah, but no, it's a great question. Johnny Lipsham says that the YouTube servers in Europe are having some issues. That's why some of your streams might be a little fuddy-duddy. Johnny says, and that Mike says, Johnny, you just need to move to the United States. It's all simple. Just move to the US. You'll be all set. Let's see. I switched from Pro Tools to Studio One a couple years ago and haven't looked back. Love it. Yeah, great. I mean, I would be surprised if someone that was a Pro Tools user that switched to Studio One and gave Studio One a real good try could not objectively look at those 2 DAWs and say Studio One is a much easier DAW to use. I just can't believe anybody would debate that, unless you are so ingrained in the Pro Tools camp that you're just not willing to give something else a try. But if you actually use Pro Tools for a lot of years and then use Studio One for even a month and gave it the college try, you would find that Studio One is a hell of a lot more intuitive and it's a lot more streamlined workflow. Pro Tools really hasn't changed much, unless Pro Tools 12 is radically different. I don't think it is, but unless it is. Let's see. Hey, James, what's up, buddy? Some of your students don't understand sidechain compression. You should cover that in the future mix. Yes, yep, I agree. That's something that's been missing. Very good point. Very good point. There's a couple other advanced things that people want me to touch on, and I'm going to, along with multiband compression and a few other things. So yeah, no, great point. Great point. Randall says mid-side EQ is an interesting one also. Yeah, that's true. I don't use that. I don't do it a lot, but there is a time and a place where it's helpful. Deer Creek Audio says Pro Tools is still huge in Nashville near me. You're right. Not so much in the home studios. Yeah, in the pro studios, you're probably right. You're probably right. So yeah, and if you're in Nashville and you're working in that, you know, if you're working in that industry and all your competitors and all your clients and all your colleagues are using Pro Tools and you want to be in that business, then you probably should use Pro Tools, you know? So It really depends on what your needs are and what you're working in and where you're trying to work. If you're working with commercial studios and sending files back and collaboration, and if they're use Pro Tools, then you got to use Pro Tools, like it or not. Um, you know, that's true though. Let's see. Any other questions? How long have we been on here? Oh, David says multi-band compression. Yeah, so we've been on an hour and 15 minutes already. Wow. James says Pro Tools has a powerful legacy hold. Everything else, everyone else is using it, so you have to too. That needs to be broken. Yeah, again, I said earlier, James, I think that is starting to happen over the last couple of years. But again, it depends. The commercial studios are still probably mostly heavily Pro Tools based. I think where it's really switching is in the home market, which is where the industry is going. The home market is growing. The commercial market is shrinking. Not in somewhere like Nashville, but I mean, across the board, in the aggregate, the home studio market's growing. The commercial studios are starting to falter. It's been like that for years now. But in places like Nashville, which is a huge, pro music, community, that's not the case. But throughout the rest of the country, it is. So it depends. Deer Creek Audio says Pro Tools are for old fart, excuse me, clients that have money and demand that platform. It's funny. Donnie Hill says most educators in school teaching using Pro Tools. Yeah, you sure you're right. I'm not in that. I am not in the formal education, business, so I don't know what they're using. And maybe they are, maybe they are. James says I use Logic. Studio One is different ways I don't like. I have about 10 DAWs. Wow, that's more than me. Yeah, we were talking earlier, James. Someone asked me about Logic. Logic's great. Logic's a great DAW too. They're all, look, at the end of the day, whatever you're comfortable with, it's great. The DAW has no bearing, zero, on the quality of your mixes. None. If you know how to use your DAW and you know how to use the tools, you can get a great mix in Pro Tools. You get a great mix in Studio One. You get a great mix in Cubase, Logic, and all the other ones. The DAW is the least of your problems. So whatever you're used to, whatever you're used to working in is fantastic. Logic, they're all good. Even Pro Tools, people, Pro Tools is good for some people. The DAW will not make you a better mix engineer at all, and that's just the fact. But yeah, Logic's awesome. I have it. I don't use it, but I have it. I've used it a few times and I liked it. Oh, let's see. Any other questions, guys? Let's see. Randall's here. Pro Tools is to Nashville like fax machines are to government agencies. Yeah, that's funny. That's probably true. You're right. Yeah, it is a great analogy. That's for sure. Hey, man, it's all good. Whatever anybody uses. Warren Hewitt says that he and many of his pro peers never use multiband compressions. Do you? I've used them. Do I use them regularly? No. No, I don't. I know how to use them. There is a time and a place for them. Most times I don't use them. Most times I find I can get myself into trouble more with a multiband compressor than what it's worth. Oh, and he says never use multiband compression. Well, I would never say never. But I mean, someone's point above, there are people that want to know about it. So if I have students and followers that want to know about it, would like me to show them something about it, I'm going to show them something about it. But I would say in that video, like I'm saying now, it's not a technique that I use all the time. It's a technique I use very rarely. It's the same thing with sidechain EQ and that kind of thing. Sidechain compression a little bit more with kick bass, that kind of thing. But that's not the norm for me. It's not right or wrong. It's just not the norm for me. But if somebody wants to learn something about it, I'm glad to try to teach it, That's what I kind of do. Mike says it's in the ear, not the gear. Exactly. Let's see, James. I got the Sennheiser HD 800S's headphones. Wow, that's the big enchilada, man. I looked at those. That was a little bit too rich for my blood, James. So much better than the 600s, better than my very nice studio monitors. That's interesting. I have the 700s. I love them. I can't imagine how much better the 800s can be, but I'm sure they're fantastic. They're 3 times the cost, or two and a half times the cost. But yeah, man, if you mix a lot on them, James, hey, you got to get what works for you, brother. It's an investment. Man, I didn't have those available to try. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I probably would have bought the stupid things. But these are the best headphones I've used to this point, so I'm really happy right now. MIDI C says, "Hi Dave, your videos are awesome. Keep rocking." Hey man, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Let's see. Mike says, "I learned that from you, David." Oh yeah, it's in the ear, not the gear, man. The gear helps. The gear doesn't get you there. It doesn't. You know, you got to know what you're doing before you know. James says he hasn't tried the 700s. Yeah, I like them. I like them a lot. But I'm sure the 800 Sennheiser makes great stuff. James says, "My wife threw something at me because she said I couldn't take the song of the month anymore. So I usually just get the best headphones." There you go. That's one way of getting it done, James. There you go. Let's see. Do you think that use plugins is the same as physical compressor? Oh yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Do I think the plugins are the same as the hardware? I mean, in most cases, it's so close that most people can't tell the difference. Is it better? Is a really subjective term. You know, it's a subjective word. Better. What does that mean? You know, again, 5 years ago, was the hardware so much better sounding than the plugins? In a lot of cases, yes. And the last 5 years, especially the last 3 years, some of these plugins are so good that you can't tell the difference. I mean, you'd have a hard time telling the difference. You'd almost have to fool yourself to hear the difference. Or the side-by-side comparison is so subtle that you'd have a hard time picking out the difference in a lot of cases. Now, there are some exceptions to that. It depends on the plugin, depends on the piece of gear. You know, depends on what it is. But in most cases, you know, most people that ask me that question are typically people who are, you know, and I'm not suggesting you are. I'm just saying that most people that ask me that kind of question are usually folks that are either you're just getting into this, maybe they got 6 months, a year's worth of experience, maybe even a couple of years of experience, or maybe in a beginner intermediate level mixing engineer. And they're trying to get, they want to get the best mix they can get. And they tend to think, or have been told or led to believe, that if you just had a bunch of analog hardware, that's going to make your mix sound better instantly. And that's not really true, because you have to know how to use the hardware just like you have to know how to use the plugin. And in a lot of cases, they're used completely different, you know, plugin from hardware. So I tell people, look, don't get hung up on that. Whatever you have is fine. You know, hardware is a lot more expensive generally. You could do a lot more experimenting with plugins, especially because you could demo plugins for free. You can't demo hardware for free. Hardware, you have to have a more elaborate setup. Plugins are a lot easier to use. They're a lot cheaper. They sound great. Buy decent quality plugins. You don't have to buy tons of them. Learn how to use them, and you don't need hardware. You don't. Now, for guys that have hardware, and I'm one of those guys that have some hardware, you guys know that. It's because I like it, because I like a piece of hardware. It's fun to put my hands on it, turn the knobs. You know, it's a different thing. Is it better? That's a real subjective word. I wouldn't say it's that much better. Go out and spend a bunch of money. I just wouldn't tell you that. You know, then there might be a specific piece of gear you might be interested in where maybe they don't make a plugin of that or something like that. Then maybe that's different if you have a specific need. But in general terms, get yourself some decent plugins. First, learn how to use your stock plugins, and maybe you're already beyond that. Learn how to use your stock plugins. Learn how to use a compressor. Learn how to use an EQ. I got 1,500 courses on all that stuff. When you can do really good mixes, or where you think you've gotten to the best that you can get with stock plugins, and it's the best you've done, and you say, I can't push these any further. I want something that sounds different. Let's not use the word better. I want something that sounds a little different. Then you start working into third-party plugins, and you, again, go on my channel, talk to guys here. I mean, I've demoed them all the big name brands. You can go see demos of all of them. You can demo them all for yourself. Learn how to use them. because those are different than the stock plugins. And I have a whole training course called Mixing with Analog Style Plugins Made Easy. It's 15 hours long. If you use third-party plugins and don't own that course, you should. It really shows you how to use them the most effective way. And that'll give you something different, you know? And then that might mean it's better, and that's okay. That's cool if you think it's better. And that's how I would recommend people go. I wouldn't say that hardware is that much better than plugins in general terms. And I'm someone who has both. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from someone who just thinks that or read that on the internet. I actually have the stuff and I know, you know? So I hope that answers your question. Let's see, where am I? I have some old monitors, JBL 4311s, some Airtones, of course. Had them for 30 years. Wow. Still relevant in your opinion? I use the Yami HS8s the most. Still relevant in my opinion. Oh, you mean, what do you mean? Is what relevant? Like the Airtones? Or what do you mean, are they still relevant? I guess I don't understand the question. Those are great. I mean, if you've had them for 30 years, you must really know them and you can really mix well on them, I would imagine. If you love, you know, if you know those speakers, I wouldn't change them. Oh, you said you used to have some NS10s and they're long gone with the tissue paper as well. In the studio I worked in, we had NS10s and we had tissue paper over them too. Those were the days. Let's see. Now, James says, now there are online services where you can remotely use their real hardware live by appointment. No kidding. I haven't even heard of that, James. Send me that link. I got to hear about that. You haven't tried it yet, but you don't intend to, but it could be done to try. I'd be interested to see what that service is all about. Maybe you just gave me another idea for a revenue stream here. People want to, you know, I wouldn't sell that to you guys because I don't think you need it, to be honest. But again, it depends on the piece of gear. It really does. Let's see. Donnie says he has a 50-plus-year-old NS10s. Wow, no kidding. I haven't mixed on NS10s in years. Whoops, I lost my place again. Oh, yes, he says, thank you, and I am a beginner. No, that's okay. Good question, man. It's not, don't feel weird about asking the question. But, you know, usually people that ask me that questions are beginners, and that's okay. Maybe I just saved you going out and spending a bunch of money. Like I said, if you're a beginner and you're not sure where to start, email me, you know, through the website at homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Let me know what you're looking, where you are, what you're looking to do. I can guide you in the right direction before you go buy a bunch of stuff, or before you go buy a bunch of my courses. If you're a beginner, let me put you on a path that makes sense so you don't get overwhelmed. Okay, because I have a lot of courses and sometimes people aren't sure what to get. What do I do? What do I do first? Email me and I'll set up I'll hook you up. Okay, I'll take care of you. Dear Kirk Audio says, you asked earlier, ever tried the Boz Lab stuff? No, I have not. Nope, I've heard about it, but I have never tried it. Sorry, I must have missed that question up above. Bobby Mixing and Mastering Services is, yes, the analog course is great, but learn the stock plugins first. Absolutely. Absolutely. The analog style plugins course is for more advanced students. And as a matter of fact, anyone that's watched that series, in the first video, I think I said something to the effect of, this is for someone who has at least 2 to 3 years of experience and knows how to use the stock plugins. I think I made that disclaimer and said, if you don't, and you don't know how to use your stock plugins well or effectively, or if you think you're going to be able to skip all the steps because you came to this course and this is going to fix all your problems, I think I said something like, stop the video now, go back and buy those courses first. That course is really for someone that's already been through, who's already built the foundation, who can already get decent mixes, that understands how to use a compressor, understands how to use EQ. And I don't mean just, you know, watch someone's video and copy the settings. I mean, really understands how to use the thing, you know? And then you jump into the analog plugin course and you'll learn a ton and you'll have a lot of fun with it. And then you'll be with one of us saying, should I buy Slate Digital or Waves or Universal Audio or SSL Logic? You'll get in that conversation that'll last for the rest of your life. But it's fun. Mike says, mixing with analog style plugins is a great course. I use third-party stuff all the time. It's a huge help to me. So many things I was struggling with come together. Great, man. Great. That was a fun course to put together. That was the most enjoyable one that I've ever put together. That was the one. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm glad it helped, Mike. Let's see. There are number ones record mix totally in the box. Yes, there are. Many. But see, what a lot of people don't realize, especially in a commercial world, they are mixed totally in the box. But most of those are recorded in big analog studios. So the sound that you're mixing has already been put through an analog console, analog compressors, analog EQs, maybe even analog tape machines. So when you're getting it when you're getting ready to mix it, it's already been so well recorded, which is a whole other part of this conversation we really haven't talked about, is that when you get it at mixing, the sounds are there, right? 80%, well, 80% is a big number. 70% of the mix is the recording itself. So a lot of those number one records that you're talking about are all recorded in big studios with analog gear. Most times, not always, especially in Nashville. They're all done like that. They're not recording number one records most of the time through plugins. That's usually not the case. I'm sure there are exceptions to that. I'm sure somebody will correct me. But in general terms, no. But mixed in the box, you're 100% correct. On a laptop, no less, in some cases. Deer Creek was asking if my 40-year-old studio monitors compete. My 66-year-old ears don't seem to care. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you have, staples in the industry for monitors. Yeah, I think they do. I mean, yeah, they do. At the end of the day, monitors are a lot like plugins in a lot of ways. It is such a personal preference and such a subjective thing. It really, truly is. If you've been mixing on something for 40 years and you're happy with the way the mixes come out and you take them out of your studio and put them in different environments and you like the way they sound, there's no reason to update your monitors, I wouldn't think. Unless you're just tired of them and you want to try something new and you got a bunch of money in your pocket you got to spend, then that's always fun too. Bobby Dale says, totally agree with you, Mike. That course was an eye-opener. Oh, mixing with analog style plugins or an ear opener. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. That's a great course. It's a great course. And honestly, it's one of the, well, no, I wouldn't say it's not the top selling course that I have. It's probably in the top 5, but it's probably more like number 4, number 5, which really surprises me because most people use third-party plugins. Most people. And I say, if you use third-party plugins, you should have that course. You shouldn't even mix your next song without watching that course. Right? Don't take my word for it. Take the words of the guys that are talking about it in the chat. I'm not just trying to sell anybody anything. I'm just trying to help you. So, let's see. Whoa, I'm getting a lot of people still here. Deer Creek Audio says Valhalla reverbs. No, I think you asked that before. I don't know anything about it. I don't. I wish I can help you. I don't know anything about those reverbs. James says that mixanalog.com thing is free to try right now. Hey, someone should try it. Check it out. Maybe I'll try it out. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for stopping in. Woodbeast, hey, thanks for stopping in. Congrats. Thank you, my friend. You're a part of that for sure. Let's see. Woodbeast, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. Deer Creek says, have I ever been to Bearsville Studios in my neck of the woods? No, I have not. I know of it, but I've never been. Mike's got to get up at 4:45. You got to go to bed, Mike. Hey, thanks for stopping in, my bud. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the coaching call for Mixing Made Easy a week from this Sunday. And we'll chat then. So if you guys have any other questions, I'm willing to look at 30-something people here. We've been on here an hour and a half. Again, just wanted to say thanks for being part of the 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Again, you see the big graphic on the screen there. If you want a discount on any of the courses for the next week, you could do that now. The sale doesn't really start till tomorrow, but if you want to go on there now and use that coupon code, it will work for you. And, you know, enjoy it. Get some new courses if you want. And there'll be some more stuff coming up. And again, if you're in here and you haven't checked out mixingmadeeasy.net, check it out. A lot of you folks here are in there and part of that website, and we're doing some really cool things over there. And we get more into all these plugins over there as well. So go check it out, mixingmadeeasy.net. It'll be the best $15 a month you ever spend if you really want to get better at craft and mixing, which is basically what we've been talking about tonight. That's what mixingmadeeasy.net will help you tremendously, much more than any one of my single courses will. So that'll be cool. So yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to sign off here in a minute. But if you want to get in one last question, feel free to go ahead. I don't mind spending an extra few minutes with you guys. Bobby says he has all the courses. Yeah, I know you do. I know. There's a lot of you guys that do. Davis, take care, my buddy. Appreciate you stopping in. Dear Craig says he has these Valhalla reverbs. They're amazing for percussion. No kidding. No boings, etc. Highly underrated. Yeah, I may have to check them out at one point. I've just never, I've never used them. Hey, Sam, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Thanks for stopping by. We're getting ready to wrap up in a couple minutes, but if you have a specific question, I'd be glad to answer it for you. Be glad to answer it. Celebrating the 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hopefully we'll be back here soon celebrating 40 and 50,000. Might take a while, but, you know. Bobby's got to run. Okay, man. See you at the coaching call. Yes, I'll see you at the coaching call. And that's awesome, man. That's okay if you didn't get your song in time. It's okay. Don't worry, man. We're doing mixing contests every single month, right? Don't worry. Don't worry. No worries at all. I'll see you at the coaching call in about another week. Deer Creek Audio says, are you using a Logitech? You mean the webcam? Yeah, I'm using, I don't know which one it is. The HD Pro 922 or 930 or something like that. Yeah, it's just a webcam I bought a few years back. It seems to work okay. I don't know. Hopefully the picture looks all right. I don't have a ton of lighting in here. That's part of the problem. I kind of like things kind of dimly lit, so, but it works, you know. Anything else? Last round for questions. Dave, are you using i9? What's an i9? What is that? I don't know what that is. Or maybe I do and I'm just drawing a blank. Sammy, thanks for stopping in, my friend. Oh, an i9 processor. See, it's getting late, man. No, I'm using I have a 2013 Mac Pro, and it's an 8-core processor. It's the little black trash can. I don't think that's an i9. I don't even think it's an i7, to be honest. But it's a workhorse. I mean, it does, you know, it's starting to get a little long in the tooth, but it still holds up really, really awesome. Oh, Deer Creek says, I bought an Elgato Cam Link that lets you use your DSLR. Big improvement. Your picture is okay. A little blown out. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen those. You know, I have a couple. I was going to make a DSLR my webcam, and I just, you know, I didn't go through the problem of trying to get it all set up because I only have one DSLR right now, and I didn't want to keep setting it up, taking it down, setting it up, taking it down. But yeah, I've, you know, at one point I might do that. I might end up doing that. I might end up getting, my wife has an older Canon DSLR that I might be able to use for that I don't need to use that. That could be like a stationary camera. I just haven't gotten that far yet, you know? Yeah, Woodbeast, it is an Intel CPU. Jim wants to know what would be the prerequisite for mixing with analog style plugins. A couple things. You want to have at least a couple of years of mixing experience under your belt, and that you're to the point where you've mixed with stock plugins and you can get good mixes. That you have a basic understanding of EQ and compressors and how they work. That would kind of be the baseline. So If you're fairly new, I would say if you're a Studio One user, you definitely want to go through Mixing with Studio One Made Easy, Volume 1. You definitely want to go through Mixing Made Easy, Volume 1. And then you could jump into Mixing with Analog Style Plugins or Mixing Made Easy Volume 2. Both of those are advanced courses. So you want to have a basic, because I don't spend any time in Mixing with Analog Style Plugins showing you how to use the basics of a compressor. I'm assuming you know that already. And if you don't, that's okay. Like I said, take the other courses first. So when you get to Mixing with Analog Style Plugins, you'll have an understanding on how this stuff works. And then we start really comparing the different types of third-party plugins, different types of channel strips, different types of tape machines, different types of analog compressors and EQs, where to use them, how to use them, what the differences are in some cases. So that's what it is. So it's just basically, you don't want to be at the very beginning stages of mixing, or less than a year and still kind of getting your arms around things, and then take that course, because it'll confuse you, it'll frustrate you, and then ultimately you'll feel like you'll feel like you didn't get anything out of it. And obviously I create these courses in a very specific way, so when you take them when it's appropriate, you'll get the most out of them. And as you've seen from people in the chat, the ones that have taken it, that have been through the other courses first, it's like they learn a ton from it. And so that's what I would say. So yeah, if you have any other questions, just, hit me up with an email. Let me know exactly where you're at, in your mixing journey, and I'll set you up with the right curriculum of, this is the one I think you ought to take A, B, C, and D. Okay. Cause there is a progression to the way I've created these. Okay. And if you're someone that already, if you're someone that's already 2, 3, 4 years into mixing, you've already done all of that, then I'd say you could jump right into that. But most times people that are coming to me and people that follow me, they may think they're at that level yet, but they're really not, and that they really need to take maybe one step back, make sure they got the foundation, and then move forward. And that's how you'll get the most out of them. So I hope that helps. Hope that answers your question. Deer Creek Audio says, Wood, he uses a Mac, the dark side. Yes, I use a Mac. Yep. All right, Donnie, take care, bud. He's taking off. See you at the coaching call in a week or so. Oops. Okay, Bobby, I'll see you at the coaching call. Sam, thanks so much. Let's see. What else we got? We're getting towards the end here. Man, thanks so much to you guys for sticking around this long. No, I don't get into soft synths. I don't really use any of that stuff myself, personally. Yeah, the only thing I do is really, James is right, I don't really get into virtual instruments all that much. I'll use Trigger 2, stuff like that. In the mixing world, I really don't need to. I mean, that's not what I do. For songwriting and construction, something totally different. But not for general mixing stuff, not usually. It's not that I don't have some of that stuff and I can't use it on some things. Sometimes I do, but it's rare, and I really don't need to. And like James is saying, I'll use Slate Trigger, a fair amount when I need to, but that's really about it. It's just like MIDI. I'm not a big MIDI person. I don't really get into MIDI too much. I don't use a lot of, I just don't, it's not what I do, it's just not that I can't use it or I don't know how, but I don't do a lot of it. I just don't. It's just not in my workflow. James says, on my last mix with the Amy Helm track, yeah, you replaced all the drums on the second try and it worked. Had to beat map the song first. Shock how well it worked. Oh, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. You said you might replace the horns with virtual instruments. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. There might be, now that you guys are saying it, there might be in an upcoming tutorial maybe where I'll do that just to show people how to do it. But yeah, that's great. I love when you guys take this stuff that I've done and you guys get more creative with it and you add your own little things into it. And you do things like, replacing maybe the horns with different virtual sounds and stuff. That's really cool, man. That's the creative part of it. Let's see. Dear Crick says, so you do more mixing, so that's your main forte. Mostly. I used to be a tracking engineer, used to record lots of bands. I had bands here every single weekend for years. I don't do that anymore. Most of my stuff is mixing. I do mastering too, but most of the work I do through training and through clients is mixing work, not really recording and producing. I get asked to do a lot of producing, and I turn most of it down because it becomes a budgetary thing. You know, I get asked to play guitar and stuff on people's records and stuff, and more times than not, I don't get involved in that because there are a lot of it's indie artists. They don't have any money. They're too picky. It's a big production, and I don't have the time to do it. So I mostly focus on, you know, in the training, most of it's mixing, although there are some recording courses, as you know, but most of it's around mixing, mastering, and the inner workings of that. And then that's what I do for clients personally. Most of it is mixing work, some mastering work, but mostly mixing. And that's it. You know, any recording that I do for my own music. I also write music for television and film. So I do recording that way. And I'll use something like Easy Drummer. That's about the only MIDI that I'll use. And then I'll plug in, you know, guitars into my Universal Audio Apollo and pull up something like a, you know, Marshall or a Friedman or a Fender amp model. Record guitars that way. I don't even mic cabinets anymore. I do things very quick because I'm so busy. My workflow's got to be very on the fly, very seamless, and it's just got to be go. I don't have time to, you know, mic up 2 guitar cabinets and make sure things are in phase and get the perfect guitar tone. I don't have time for that in my business anymore. So that's about all the tracking that I do. It is 8:45 p.m., which means I got to get running as I put my daughter to bed. Let's see. Deer Creek says, bands in a home studio is a bummer nowadays. Okay, I was unmarried and younger. You know, it was okay when you were unmarried and younger a little while. Yeah. It's a different. I mean, I have a big studio, but you know, I even when I was married, I was doing it. When I had my daughter, things changed. You know, the world's a different place today. I mean, I live in Connecticut. I don't live in Nashville. So the local band market is pretty scarce here anyway. Most of the bands around here are all weekend warriors, which is totally fine. But it also means they don't have the budget. They want to come in and record a 3 or 4 song demo. They want to spend 10 hours here, and then they want you to mix their record for $400. And I can't make any money that way. And once I had kids, I didn't want to have strangers at my house. You know, it's unfortunately, as we all know, we live in weird times, right? And I didn't want a bunch of strangers here. So it was different when I was younger and my life was a little different. But in the end, it's much better. I mean, my business is far more successful doing what I do now than what I was doing then. I don't have to be out there humping looking for the next band to bring into my studio. I don't have to do that anymore, you know? I got the internet, the worldwide audience now. I don't need to deal with local artists. So it's nice. Yeah, I don't like people coming to my studio that I don't know either. You know, but that's how I started. I mean, you know, that's how I started, and it was great at the time, and I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, you know. But I much prefer this, and I much prefer not just mixing. I much prefer teaching as opposed to working with musicians. You know, I like the teaching aspect of it. I just find it more enjoyable, and I get more out of it personally. You know, like a lot of the folks here tonight said, this stuff really helps, and their courses are great. And one dude got his first mixing job because he took some of my training and he got better. That is more self-satisfying to me than recording some local, you know, drunken band that's sloppy, can't play right, singer can't sing in tune, and then they want to know why their recording sucks. You know, I don't want to deal with that anymore. So, but anyway, all right, fellas. So we're working on almost 2 hours here, and I do need to run. But again, I wanted to thank all of you for being a part of the Home Recording Made Easy ecosystem. That's, you know, or missing, you know, the whole thing, including the YouTube channel. And I know all of you guys are subscribers, and I do appreciate it. And go ahead, like I said, go ahead and use the coupon code and get yourself some stuff on me. And you know, I'll talk to you guys really soon. And if you're part of mixingmadeeasy.net, you are going to see me very soon. So if you have any other questions or anything else, you can always email me over at info@homerecordingmadeeasy, and keep your eye on the YouTube channel because there are more videos coming, one tomorrow, one on Monday, and they're coming a couple every week. So hope you guys enjoy the videos. Leave comments below like you always do. And I will see you guys very soon. Thanks so much again, guys. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.